international conferences, symposia, colloquia, and seminars. He has given keynote addresses and served on television and radio as an international and national security analyst and expert. He has written and co-authored research papers and several books, including the popular Satanic Cults and Ritualistic Crimes and The Anatomy of Genocide, State-Sponsored Mass Killings. He has been featured in several distinguished magazines such as The Smithsonian, The Economist, Rotarian, National Geographic, and many international news publications. He is the president and founder of the Von Frederick Group, a counterterrorism and criminological organization based in Sacramento, California, with a sister agency, Von Frederick Global Security Africa, based on the African continent. Dr. Rollins has lectured at Gakushin University in Tokyo, Japan, and is a lecturer-trainer at the Rwanda Defense Force Command and Staff College. He has also presented at the Nigeria Defense College and the Nigeria Defense Academy. He served as the executive director for a facility that housed teenage female gang members involved in drugs, prostitution, and extremely violent crimes. He was the administrator for another facility for extremely violent teenage boys afflicted with gangs and criminal delinquency. Dr. Rollins further developed his understanding of juvenile delinquency from working with juveniles in a juvenile hall and at a level 14 juvenile establishment that dispensed psychotropic medication. Dr. Rollins is a fellow of the Institute of Criminal Justice and Criminology Administration, as well as the president and chair of its governing council, the only one in Africa. He is also a fellow of the Environment and Safety Management Institute, a fellow of the Institute of Criminology and Strategic Studies, and a distinguished fellow of the Institute of Leadership, Manpower, and Management Development. He is a certified safety management expert and the recipient of an honorary doctorate in recognition of his distinguished contributions to the field of safety, security, and criminology through such avenues as his publications, applied research, teachings, administration of criminal justice programs, contributing to the public awareness of criminology, humanitarianism, international law, and his leadership of professional organizations. The Distinguished Alumni Award was also bestowed upon Dr. Rollins for his outstanding leadership in international criminal justice education. Dr. Rollins has received many accolades for his security and humanitarian work with the Chibok girls during the Boko Haram crisis. He designed and implemented a unique security architecture to protect over 100 Chibok girls when they were admitted into the American University of Nigeria after regaining their freedom. He is a sought-after hostage negotiator par excellence and a renowned strategic crisis manager. I now welcome to the podium our National Security Advisor, Dr. Lionel Rollins.
Greetings, everyone. Allow me to stand on the existing protocol as previously established by the moderator. Thank you, Madam Moderator. I am honored to be back in my homeland of St. Kitts and Nevis once again, and this time in the capacity of the nation's National Security Advisor. It is a privilege to be able to contribute to the national development of one's country. As for my qualifications of being here, I will not repeat what you have just heard. When it pertains to the curbing of criminal activity in our communities and the overall maintenance of law and order in St. Kitts and Nevis, I will continue to use the full extent of my expertise to work diligently alongside our national security agencies, the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, and the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force. Our Federation's two law enforcement agencies are ready willing and well prepared to fulfill the task at hand. As your National Security Advisor, one of my main goals is to bring to the table a different strategic approach to the manner in which our national security agencies and our citizenry responds to incidences of criminal activity in our federation. I will also focus heavily on our youth, paying special attention to the avenues through which they either fall prey or are attracted to gang involvement. It's something that I know very well. Law enforcement has its work to do, but so too do the citizens and residents. It is very crucial that we accept the repeatedly proven fact that crime is a symptom of a host of near ancient issues and problems, many of which came into existence when our great-grand and grandparents arrived on the shores. While revisiting the historic origins of a thing or concept, it is great for insight. It is also an exercise in futility if the effort is not consistently paired with purposeful, strategic, and goal-driven action, and this includes intelligence. If it has been said once, it has been said 1,000 times, the maintenance of law and order in any country, anywhere in the world, cannot be successfully done solely by law enforcement agencies. The citizenry has a duty to contribute positively to their own safety and security. In short, we have to work together, and as we enter 2023 Christmas Carnival season, it is my fervent wish for each of us to take stock of ourselves and our communities. I urge you all to choose to actively and positively invest in your own protection. Basically, if you see something, say something. Stand up for justice. Speak out for justice and wrongdoing. Speak up for your neighbor. Speak up for yourself. Speak up because it is the right thing to do. Thank you all sincerely for your kind attention. I look forward to working with you while working for you. I now turn it back over to our brilliant moderator.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Rollins. Our next speaker is Commissioner of Police, Mr. James Sutton.
Good afternoon, members of the press, citizens at home and abroad. Kindly allow me to adopt the protocol that has been so ably established. Thank you for joining us today under these somber circumstances. I stand before you as Commissioner of Police with a heavy heart, addressing the recent tragedies that have befallen our communities. 2 shooting homicides that have left us all deeply saddened. Our first and foremost priority is to express our heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of the victims. These senseless acts of violence have left an indelible mark on our community, and we share in a collective grief that have befallen us. Our dedicated law enforcement teams are working tirelessly to bring those responsible to justice. We are committed to a thorough and swift investigation, collaborating with all relevant agencies to ensure a comprehensive understanding of these incidents. In times like these, it is crucial for the community to come together. We encourage anyone with information related to these crimes to come forward and assist us in our efforts to bring closure to the grieving families and make our streets safer. Let this moment strengthen our resolve to address the root causes of violence in our society. We, as a community, must engage in open dialogue, support one another, and work collaboratively to prevent tragedies from happening in the future. Our officers are here not just as enforcers of the law, but as partners in a shared goal of building a safer and more resilient community. Together, we can overcome these challenges and foster an environment where every member feels safe and secure. As the holiday season approaches, ensuring the safety and security of our community during the Christmas and Carnival season is paramount. Here is an outline of our comprehensive security plan. 1, risk assessment. To conduct a thorough risk assessment to identify potential security threats and vulnerability specific to the Christmas and Carnival seasons. Points to consider, such as large crowds, public gathering, and increased foot traffic. 2, collaboration with stakeholders. To engage with other local authorities, event organizers, businesses, and community leaders to foster collaboration. Establish clear lines of communication and coordinate efforts to address security concerns. 3, increase patrols and presence of the police. To enhance police presence in key areas, including shopping districts, event venues, crowded areas. Visible patrol can act as a deterrent and give the reassurance to public when it comes to public safety. Traffic management. To implement effective traffic control measures to manage the increased flow of vehicles during the festive season. As we consider things such as road closure, traffic diversions, designated drop-off points, and alternative transportation options. Number 5, surveillance systems. To utilize and optimize surveillance systems, including CCTV cameras, to monitor crowded areas and potential security hotspots. Also, to ensure that our equipment, our CCTV equipment, are up and running in good order. 6, crowd control measures. To plan for effective crowd management, especially during the parade and other events. To deploy sufficient personnel to handle crowds, designated entry and exit point, and establish contingency plan for in cases of emergency situations. 7, public awareness campaign. To launch public awareness campaigns to educate the community about safety measures. Also to encourage the reporting of suspicious activities and to promote a sense of collective responsibility when it comes to security. 8, emergency response plan. To review and update our emergency response plan, including communication strategies, evacuation procedures, and coordination with other emergency agencies. 9, security screening. To support security screening procedures at event entrances to detect and prevent the entry of prohibited and restricted items. This may include bag search, body search, and the use of metal detectors. 10, community policing. We have to continue to foster positive community policing relationship with many outreach programs and engagement events. A proactive approach to community policing can enhance cooperation and strengthen public trust. 11. Coordination with private security. To collaborate with private security firms responsible for screening at specific events or specific events or venues. Also to ensure that they are well aligned with our overall security strategy. 12, post-event evaluation. To conduct a thorough evaluation of the security measures post-events to identify our successes and to build on our weaknesses. The use of feedback will enhance our capabilities to deal with security matters in the future. By implementing these comprehensive security plan that will address these key components, we can work together to create a safe and enjoyable environment for everyone during the Christmas and Carnival season. Finally, let us unite against all forms of violence as we celebrate the festive season. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I now call to the podium Lieutenant Commander J. Anthony Comrie to make his presentation.
Good afternoon all. Protocol has already been established. Safe to say, let me recognize our PS and the head table. The St. Kitts Nevis Defense Force is committed in supporting the civil power. A matter of fact, it is mandated by law. Section 7 of the Defense Force Act, service to the civil power, speak to the Governor General on the advice of the Federal Cabinet, will call out the Defense Force for a period. During this period, I may add, that all soldiers would have and enjoy the powers, authority, and immunity which are vested in the police officer. How we do that? We carry out patrols, both mobile and foot, in areas identified by the police or hot spots. We do a minimum of 3 patrols on a daily basis. We also have soldiers attached to various departments of the police force. For the upcoming Carnival and Christmas, there will be no difference from the past. Soldiers will be out in their numbers on the street and at shows in support of the police. It will be remiss of me not to highlight the St. Kitts Nevis Defense Force work with the youths of the Federation. Our main effort is through the Cadet Corps, both infantry and sea. You would have seen cadets at various parades all over the Federation, and they have distinguished themselves by winning the 40th anniversary independence drill competition. We was able to participate in the Caribbean Cadet Camp in Jamaica after some 10 years in the wilderness. The Coast Guard has launched the Sea Cadet program recently, and the response is tremendous. I was advised we have over 60 applicants so far. This drive is timely, given the Explorer being dormant. We also have a swim program that targets the youths, and this program is free. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the parents for entrusting their children's safety with the SKNDF. I will also like to make an appeal to the business community to partner with the SKNDF in chartering a path for the future of our Federation to our youths. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel. At this time, we'll open the floor to any questions from the media.
Good afternoon, Calabares, that is at Broadcasting Corporation. Commissioner, you just outlined the security plan for the Christmas Carnival season. I would assume that some of them are already being put in place. Can you tell us some of the challenges you are facing with that?
I would not say we really experienced any challenges because it's still in its infancy stage. We have not finalized. It's just a synopsis of the plan. We have commenced the implementation of certain aspects of it because, as you see, with respect to violent crime, we have to have those engagement ongoing because it has worked for us tremendously in suppressing a number of the incidents we would have had based on our intelligence. Traffic, as you know, we have had an increased number of vehicles, and that is becoming somewhat of a challenge to us. But we realize as well, by having a presence out there, it reduces some of the issues that we're having. What we can have when it comes to traffic is a number of amendments, though, to the traffic laws, but that will have to come maybe in the coming year. But immediately, we're just looking at the more basic application of some of these because our safety and security of our patrons and businesses is what is paramount to us.
Good afternoon, Glenn Bart from SK Newsline. Christmas Carnival period, it's a very busy time, a lot of demands on the police force. In regards to your manpower, do you have the required amount of personnel ready and available to you, apart from the fact that you are getting assistance from the Defense Force, available to you to do the necessary police work that is going to be required? Because some persons have to be in the field, others have to be in the office, and so forth, and rotation and that kind of thing. So what's the status there with regards to your manpower for the season? With regards to the Coast Guard, now, again, that period of time could also present an opportunity for persons who may want to enter the country illegally, for human traffickers to get a little bit more creative or get a little bit more busy. What's the status on your capabilities in terms of equipment, in terms of manpower, with regards to the Coast Guard?
Yes, good afternoon, Gail. That's a very, 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 very important question. We are challenged when it comes to manpower, and to circumvent that, we will be restricting leave as of the 15th of December. The training school that is in session will break as well around the 13th of December because we have to juggle to get the sufficient manpower because we'll never have enough manpower. But we have to be strategic in our deployment of the limited human resource that we have. We're going to use a number our technology with regards to our CCTV camera monitoring to assist us, and we're going to use a number of open source intelligence to assist us to deploy in our deployment with our human resource. So it is a very important question, and that's something we are looking at, because at the same time we have to look at our burning out of our men, okay, because we want our men to be energized and willing to work. But I think that what we will do as well is to meet with the men to get the buy-in of the general populace of the organization to know that this is a time that all hands would be needed on deck. Because apart from the Christmas and Carnival season, we also will be in the heart of our tourism season, and that will require additional manpower. So we will be applying a number of strategies to combat the shortcoming. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bart, for your question. As the Commissioner speak, we too have our challenges, and but we will also be restricting vacation from the 15th of next month, so we should be at full strength as going into the Christmas and Carnival season. You mentioned smuggling, but we also have to remember safety as well. We are Twin Island State, and there will be numerous marine traffic between both islands. So we too have to monitor the safety of our citizens as well, that transit between both islands. So we will be out there in our numbers. We have, I wouldn't say we have adequate assets, but we have enough for a safe and for a safe season. Thank you.
Let me add something to that. We have also deployed some technological strategies and some operational strategies, and these strategies will help to make up for the deficit that we're having. Oh. Okay. I was saying that we have some technological strategies that we have employed and deployed that will help us make up for the deficit that both the commissioner and the commander were speaking about. Also, we have some operational strategies in place that when you know your weakness, you make up for it in strength. So these strategies are going to already been deployed, and these are what we will use to make up for the difference. Hope that answers your question.
So with the limited manpower that you both attested to, with the coming together of the Defense Force and the Police Force, will the Defense Force soldiers then be conferred the right to arrest, if it comes to that? And also, my second question, if I can look it up, I'll wait for that answer and then I'll come back.
As I mentioned in my opening address, the Governor General had the authority to instill that authority on the Defense Force, and we are hoping to get that by the 1st of December.
Some years ago, probably 2 years ago or so, if my memory serves me correct, maybe it could be a little shorter, there was a video that was made of a arrest of a young man during Carnival time, and in which the Defense Force officers were seen being a bit heavy-handed, if I may use those words. Are your officers, are your Defense Force personnel going to be specially trained or have some kind of meeting in which they're going to be sensitized about the way they are supposed to interact with the general population, and how do they make arrests on behalf of the police and so forth? Could you talk about that, please?
Thanks for your question. Once that power is invested in us, we always reach out to the police for sensitizing the officers and suspected persons how to approach a situation, and that training is ongoing. I believe the last time we did it was with ACP Francis. So that training is ongoing, and we are cognizant that the soldiers are not equipped or trained in that area, so we'll provide the necessary training as a former police officer, I could agree with what you're saying. So we provide that training for those soldiers that will be on the street. Thank you.
We have recently been witnessing a rise in the rate of crime in terms of murders. What does the police force cite as the reason for this, and what is being done and can be done to curb these instances?
Yes, we are concerned about the upsurge in homicides, especially gun-related crimes. As you know, we do not produce guns here, and it is a challenge for us. We have been robust, we have been active in the pursuit of these guns, because whatever strategies we may have put in place, if we do not get the guns off the street, we'll always be at stage 1. So far for the year, we have taken off 38 guns from the streets. We will continue our engagement with members of the gangs, because majority of the incidents would have emanated from gang-related activity. That is a split in the gangs. So we felt that by having an engagement with them will help to address those concerns. We also continue our active policing of enforcing the law, stop and searches of persons on the streets and homes at the same time. So it's a collective effort. We are hoping that the public could assist us as well, because majority of the times when these crimes are committed, the police are absent. So we were hoping that by having our community policing initiative, that we can build a trust to encourage persons to come on board with the police. A number of persons have come on board, and we were able to provide some assistance to them when it comes to giving evidence. We have relocated persons overseas in that regard as well. So it's a holistic approach when it comes to combating these serious crimes, because we are aware of the seriousness that entails. So with regards to that, as I said, it has to be a collective effort between the police, the community, in order for us to address it. It must be a holistic approach. Thank you.
Some months ago, there was talk by the Minister of National Security that there were on order some radar facilities that were to be installed on both St. Kitts and on Nevis. What has happened to that facility? Is it almost here? What's the situation with that? And how do you intend to use that? But the radar facilities by themselves will not necessarily work well if your other assets are missing. So what is the coordination for the new budget year that's coming up in regards to investment in infrastructure and in equipment for the Coast Guard? Secondly, there were some time ago the arrival of some Cameroonians. The last we've heard was that they were waiting some kind of report from the United Nations agency, and then we have heard nothing else since then. What has happened to those Cameroonians? Are they still here, or where have they gone to? And in regards to the last set of Haitians that were rescued off the coast of St. Kitts, again, the idea was that they were going to be deported, but after that statement, we heard nothing.
Thank you, Mr. Bart, for your question. As it referred to the land-based radars, in communication with our partner nation, they should be installed by mid-2024. In the meantime, we would have, in the process of acquiring some drones, that will be a short-term fix. And yes, we have the required amount of assets, and that will reduce our fuel bill tremendously, because we don't have to be out there looking, because once we have the drones and we have the radars in place, we can see from shore. So we only deploy to investigate what we see. So the drones and the radars in combination will save us tremendous amount of money in terms of fuel costs. Thank you.
Let me start with the last question with regard to the Haitians. All the Haitians have been repatriated to their homelands. No, one remain, because the female, she is the mother of a Dominican, and because of the child's OACA status, we decided we were seeking some legal guidance in that respect, because we didn't think it was fair to repatriate a national of the OACS to Haiti, even though the mother is Haitian. So the others have been repatriated to their homeland. With regard to the Cameroonians, they have completed the third stage of their negotiation, the discussion, but a decision has not been made as yet as to a receiving country. So we are waiting that response at this time.
So
They're still here. They are still in St. Kitts, awaiting United Nations identifying a receiving country. The third round of discussion has been completed, but until a receiving country has been identified, we cannot allow them to leave until that has been completed.
how many, and are they in the community or are they still in the center?
No, they are in a home by themselves. What's 17?
Dr. Rollins, you encouraged the public to invest in their own protection. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit? What did you mean in terms of investing in your protection?
Well, it's a good question. The law enforcement cannot do it by themselves. So the public, the citizens, need to take some drastic measures to protect themselves. And it's not, we're not asking them to engage in warfare or to arm themselves, but there are things that they can do. First of all, if you can afford it, put a camera in front of your house or on your house. These cameras are cheap. They're not that expensive. And should I say, let me use the word affordable, not cheap. Secondly, we can use our G2, use our common sense. There are things that you can avoid, places you should not go. If you went to a place and you feel unsafe, don't go. Follow your gut feeling. These are things that are practiced all over the world. If you know that you have a child, 12, 13 years old, and yes, it's Christmas time, it's the carnival time, but it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you haven't seen him, there's a problem. Even before carnival, it's 10 o'clock at night. You don't know where your daughter is or your son is, it's a problem. So we need to do these things to protect ourselves. And yes, law enforcement, the military, national security will be there and we will respond. But that makes us reactionary. We are doing some things and putting them in place so that we could be more proactive than reactive, which is what we want. But we cannot do it by ourselves. We would need the help of the citizens to protect themselves as well. And also, by protecting themselves, they can give us necessary information. Like I said, if you see something, say something. I get it. Many people do not trust the police. It's all over the world. I get it. But you have to start developing some trust. The police have work to do in developing that trust, but so do the citizens of the country. They need to be able to establish that trust with the police and the military, of course. But in terms of us working together, they have to tell us things that they know. We have 50,000 people in 68 square miles. Everyone knows everything. We should be able to pass on information. The commissioner just mentioned about a program to protect people. It is there, and we have used it and can be used anytime we want. So people, don't be afraid to say something. If you see something, say something. If you're that afraid to talk to the police, go out and speak to your pastor. They can get that information across to the police and the defense force or to national security. Speak to your pastor. Your pastors are trusted people, and they can bring that information out to you. That's what they're there for. Speak to a trusted person in your community who you know you can go and talk to, who can bring that to the commissioner or the commander. And if all else fails, and you do not think you can muster up the nerve to call the police, call me. I guarantee you I will not let you down. I will not let you down at all. Call me. I will promise you I will not disappoint you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much to the members of the media for their questions. At this time, I'd like to invite our speakers at the head table to give their closing remarks.
Good afternoon once again. I will not take as long as I did previously. I want to ask you to help us fight these incidents or incidences of crime that is plaguing the Federation. I mentioned earlier, we are 68 square miles and 50,000 people. We should not be in this situation we are in. I just came from a country, 300 million people. 300 million people. We have 50,000 people. I taught at a university, had 50,000 students. We have the same amount of students as people living in the Federation. We had 10 policemen on that university campus. 10. The most we had was a car that was broken into just to steal somebody's backpack. Or perhaps young people smoking marijuana. But that was it. 50,000 students. And you're telling me that we have 50,000, a population of 50,000. We cannot end this. We can. But we cannot do it alone. We are depending on you and you and you. Help us out. We can't be doing it by ourselves. We are also going to re-strategize and reorganize and revamp the whole system, the whole criminal justice system. But we will begin that in 2024, which will give us a better functioning police and military. And you will see, you will be the beneficiaries of it all. But we cannot do it alone. We need you. And I'm asking you for the Christmas season that's coming up, help us out. If you know something, tell us. If you see something, say something. That's all I can ask. And you will find out if you begin to do that, you will see a big turnaround. And we will finish this. We will fix it. I can guarantee you, any one of you out there listening, we will fix this problem. It is fixable. Is it easy? But we are not getting your support. We need it. And we will fix it. 2024 will be a much better year, I promise you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I'm grateful for the opportunities that we can meet and able to converse with the general populace, because crime fighting should not be the responsibility of the police. It is responsible for all of us. We have our part to play. The time for finger pointing has passed. We continue to see many of our young people losing their lives senselessly from gun violence. And St. Nevis is not the only place who is going through this problem. Transnational organized crime is affecting the entire region. A lot of our young people continue to gravitate towards guns for whatever reason. Because when we look at our statistics, that is where majority of the persons who have succumbed to violent crime coming from. We have to speak out. We have to speak out to our neighbors, our children, our children's children, if we are to stem this tide. Crime, violent crime especially, is affecting each and every one of us. You may not see it now, but tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, we are going to suffer because we will not have a future, that the future we like to have. Crime has no boundaries. Let us come together and work. We all know what the problem is. Let us fix the problem. If each and every one of us fix one problem that we have, instead of pointing a finger, St. Kitts and Nevis will be a better place. Let us be a model to the other countries in the Caribbean and around the world. Stop this violence. Support each other. Collaborate and empower each and every one of us as we move forward. Thank you.
Once again, I would like to say that St. Kitts Nevis Defence Force is committed in support of the police force, continue to work to make the Federation a safer place for visitors, citizens, and residents. We're also committed in working with the youth because we know that the youth is our future, and let me appeal to the business community to come on board with the SKNDF in supporting our charting a way forward with the youths of our country. If we get the youths on board and direct them in the right path, we will not have those behaviors that we are seeing now. So once again, I want to reach out to the business community, appeal to them to come on board and assist us in charting a path with the youth so we can have a safer place called St. Kitts and Nevis. Please help us to help you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much to our head table for their sage words of advice and encouragement. Before I sign off, I too would love to encourage the general public to heed their words. If, like me, you're fed up of the unnecessary slow singing and flower bringing at funerals for our youth, who should be here living life and contributing to national development, listen to the words of our law enforcement heads. Change only happens if we make it happen. It's not magic. You cannot wish it, but if you want it, you have to do it. And we can. Thank you all once again for attending today's National Security Press Conference. I trust that it has been a very informative session and one that has put many minds at ease as we enter our Christmas Carnival season for the year 2023. I wish everyone a wonderful afternoon. This is Leslie Joseph signing off.